Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first interview in our new series under His Favor Ministries. This is Us with Shenee and Luke. First of all, I would like to say thank you thus far for tuning in the other series that we've been having. Starting last week, we had Timothy Finley Jr., who was running for mayor in Louisville, Kentucky. And then we had Pastor Ivy Marsh, who is, oh my gosh, running a phenomenal men's ministry. And I told him I want to get his wife on next too. But that was pastoring and beyond under Shenee Shares series. Like, why is Shenee doing all these series? One, because I want to. And the other reasons I was led to do so, just to give yet another platform so people can share what they're doing, and not also share what they're doing, but encourage you to keep going. This is us. Well, I'm going to say this is us now because the person I'm bringing on, we've already been chatting. I've been on her platform. We cool. So I'll put it like that. You'll notice that in the conversation between us. But when I started the idea of doing This Is Me with Shenee and Luke, it was more of to let people see the people that they see, doing phenomenal things, but giving a platform to also share, the hills and the valleys, the mountaintops and the lows in their life. Okay. Just to encourage, because sometimes you see people up here and don't realize, hey, they might have been through some stuff to get there, okay? But they didn't stop. They kept going. So those of you who feel like quitting or think that you can't get to the next level, tune in to the next few people that we are having, and you will definitely be encouraged from hearing their story. But I don't want to prolong this much longer. We have an hour to just share with you, and I already took up 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do is play this quick clip, and then I'm going to introduce our guest, Regina Robinson, international. She's not around the corner, y'all. I said international. She has been beyond the highways and the byways with her speaking. I have spoke at her Unstoppable Women Conference retreat. Such a phenomenal woman of God. But I'm going to let you have a little clip, and then I'm going to bring her on, and we're just going to roll with it. As we're doing that, please, y'all know what to do. Share. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know where you're from. And also, if you have other businesses and things, share in those too. She also has some things that she can share in that regard as well. All right. So enjoy this clip, and I will be right back with you all.
The one main reference on a school's website for you should be their academic tab. And why? Because you want to make sure that school has a strong program in whatever you're desiring to study, whether that be biology, whether that be engineering, whether that be international business. In fact, those are key areas that you should be looking for when you're visiting a college website. Not just... I was single. I really needed. And for me, I needed to dig deep and really discover me. Mm-hmm. I really needed to learn, what is it that I need? Not what is it that somebody else needs from me? What do I need? And so when I was able to really...
So we got to be willing to get healed, sister. We can't let the bumps in the road on our journey take us down. See, some of us get to a space where every time we get knocked down, we stay down. I'm going to give y'all the greatest Muhammad Ali. He said before he even won a fight, he said the champ is here. The champ is here. He never even won the fight, but he declared he's a champ. Some of y'all don't believe in you enough, so you're not even declaring you a winner, so you already counting yourself out before you can even get in the ring. Sisters, get in the ring and get in.
Like, hurry up! What are you waiting on? Just jump in the rope, and you just keep bouncing. You just keep bouncing, and they're like, oh my God, my arms are getting tired. They want to stop and start over. You're like, wait a minute, just give me a few more minutes. That's some of y'all on y'all business. You are playing double dutch with your business. Jump in the rope today. Stop playing and waiting on tomorrow. Right? Because tomorrow's not promised. So if you were supposed to jump today, but you waiting, you ain't never gonna see tomorrow.
Wow, how many of you were inspired just from that 2-minute clip? Every time I watch it, I'm like, oh my goodness, there was so many choices. I was trying to put it together, like, what else can I put on here? But I gotta condense it. She's saying so many things. I was doing my research, like, oh my goodness, she's so powerful. But again, we are here with Regina Robinson. Before I bring her on, I know you all are probably like, wait a minute, it's supposed to be somebody else. This is me with what Shenee and Luke. Unfortunately, Luke will not be with me tonight. I am so sorry. I know some of you are like, oh my goodness, who is that person that was with you in the flyer? But yeah, unfortunately, something came up and he will not be with me tonight. So we'll see how the rest of the interviews go. But until then, please bear with me as I bring on my special guest, Regina Robinson. How are you? How are you?
Good evening, Shenee. I'm excited. I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me here with you tonight. And I am looking forward to an amazing time. Get ready, right? We ain't even started yet, but let's bring the fire. Let's get ready for everyone that's tuning in. Thank you for tuning in and share this out because we're going to have an amazing evening.
Yes, we are. Well, first, I don't know. Y'all been, those who've been following, y'all know I don't do the long bios. One is not because I can't read. I love to talk. It's just that I want to make sure that I represent the person accordingly. So I just go with the flow, and I'm gonna have her kind of introduce herself and give you some background information on her. But one thing I do know, okay, she is a best-selling author, and she is the Inner Confidence Strategist. Okay, first off, Inner Confidence Strategist. Talk to me. Where did that come from? Because you're not saying I'm a life coach. I'm a mentor. You broke it down.
So listen, here's what I know as women. Here's the deal. You can't share something you have not been through, you have not lived through it, and you have not grown through it, right? And so we all too often are confident on the outside. We confident in what we look like, how we show up, feeling ourselves, right? And when someone asks you, you say, I'm doing amazing, or I'm blessed and highly favored. When on the inside, that's not the truth, right? And so one day I really had to ask myself, do you love yourself? And the response I did not embrace back because it wasn't no, oh girl, I love you, right? It wasn't that response back. So what I realized was I had built this facade on the outside. And when I showed up, I looked good like I always do, right? But that was a temporary look good. The long lasting look good had to be worked on. So I had to dig deep on the inside and work on the inner me so that I can become the best me. And that's where it came from. You know what? There's too many women who show up on the outside looking great, but on the inside they broken. And so how do we work with them on the inside so that they can not only flourish on the outside, but they can flourish on the inside? And when those two things match up, I promise you unstoppable.
Wow. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all already know just from that we are in for a treat. I usually wait to the end, 5 to 7 minutes, so they can just go with the flow. But she's already starting. Tawana said, yes, we are already flowing. We are already
yes.
And that's why I've been so excited to have her on because like I said, I already been in her presence. I know what she brings to the table already. But I do want to talk about unstoppable. So why do you feel you were called? I'm singling you out because a lot of people are having conferences for women. A lot of people are doing retreats. But why do you feel you were called to encourage women?
So I believe that God has called and purposed me to encourage women to be unstoppable. And what is it? When you break down, I always break down unstoppable. And it really means I'm unable to stop. And literally, we are as women unable to stop. No matter how many times we get knocked down, as long as we are willing to get back up. It is in the get up that our strength lies. And so we keep on wallowing in the weakness of the breakdown, but no, it's the get up. That is where you discover the true strength in who you are. And so being able to go on that journey where I have experienced those knockdowns, right? And the great Muhammad Ali, like you heard in the video, always says the champ is here. Like you got to believe you're the champ before you even win. And so I believe I'm unstoppable before. Why? Because I'm unable to stop. I'm not willing to give up on me. I am my biggest cheerleader. And when we start cheering ourselves on, that's when we'll realize there's nothing that can come between us and our greatness but us. and our willingness to not believe in ourselves. So I encourage every woman, every man, start believing in who you are, start believing in what you bring, and be unapologetic about delivering it to the world, because you've been called, you've been purposed. So most importantly, you've been equipped.
I love that. So, of course, we're talking about unstoppable women. What would you say? Because I'm also an advocate for like men hurting and things. What would you say to that man that needs to be unstoppable as well?
Wow. Most of the time, we believe that men are so strong all the time, right? Because that's how they grew up. They grew up where you're not supposed to cry, or you're not supposed to be vulnerable, or you're not supposed to feel hurt. But a man feels hurt just as much as a woman feels hurt. So, to all the single women out there and all the ladies trampling over these men, you're destroying them for the next woman. How about that? And so, men have a right, they have an order to be able to hurt and be able to express their hurt too, right? It's time out for the whole back in the day where it says a man ain't supposed to cry. If you're holding all of that in, self-care, most importantly, mental health is important. And so, men, it's time for you to release some of the things that you've been holding on to so that you can be all that you've called and been called to be in this season of your life as well.
Amen. Thank you. And in one of your clips when I was going through, you stated something that really came out to me. Speaking for those who saw our presentation last week, we were talking about women committing adultery. So what I want to ask you is more on the lines of being single. Like, why do you feel some people are feeling like being single is a curse, or they have to settle because just wanting to have the feeling of being lonely. So we end up doing things maybe we not thinking we should do, knowing that we shouldn't do, just for the sake of that feeling, that void of loneliness.
So listen, we on here to be vulnerable tonight, right? We on here to share all the truths, right? Yeah. And so I can relate to that because I've been there in that space where I felt lonely, right? In my singleness. And so I had to take time to, again, be happy and love me, right? And when you can get in that space of digging deep and discovering and loving, spending time with you, then you can be okay with being single, right? And so in my singleness in the beginning, like years back in my singleness, I was unhappy being single, right? Because I wanted to just be like, okay, well, I deserve love too, right? Because that's what we've been told since we were a young girl, right? That you're supposed to find a man and get married by a certain age and have children and all that, right? That messed us up as kids, right? So we thinking we Barbie or somebody, right? No. And so I had to realize that. So now I realize, not single today, but now I realize when I was in my singleness that I would rather be single, sleeping next to myself, than been so-called having someone else sleeping next to you that's the wrong person sleeping next to you. Wow. And so you would want to stand in your singleness and wait in your singleness so that you can get who is really purpose to stand side by side you, cover you from front to back, so that you don't feel like you're alone when you're even in a relationship. So please, ladies, take your time to be single, and men, take your time to be single, because that's where you should be growing. That's where you should be learning. And most importantly, should be becoming the best version of you, so that when he or she comes along, you are already ready and you're not broken.
Exactly. Thank you for that. Like again, Regina Robinson, ladies and gentlemen, those who have just tuned on, I see a few more people, but again, please share this broadcast. If you don't catch it now, I'm sure you all will catch the replay, and I'm letting you know it'll be in our help me, Regina. our new I can't say it, new newsletter. What is wrong with this? Okay, yeah, we all
newly released newsletter. Yeah.
I don't know where that came, like new. Yeah, but yes, I definitely am excited of, again, more where the conversation is going. But real quick, I want to give some shout outs. If you are on, please put in chat. Y'all know I love to know who's here. Sometimes I can't see everybody, and then I get that was a good broadcast. I didn't know you was on. So please let me know you're watching, where you're from. Say hello to Regina and myself. Again, I'm so into interacting with everybody. So he had Tawana Carlton. How are you? Hi. And I saw that Yvonne was on. I think she's still on. Hey, Yvonne.
Hey, Yvonne.
We got
and so I can't see anybody that's on or any comments. So shout out to everybody who is tuning in with us. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm excited. Tawana, thank you for tuning in. Tawana is one of my mentees, and she is amazing, doing amazing things. She's a speaker. She's an author. She's a minister in her own rights, just rocking out. So shout out to Tawana Carlton.
Do I need to interview her too?
I think she is live coming up in one of your weeks. So shout out to Tawana.
She is.
Yes.
Oh, see, I need an assistant. Y'all pray. I need an assistant. It's getting crazy over here. But one thing I do want to ask, because so many, like I said earlier, so many people are women empowerment, and you're doing Unstoppable Women, but how have you been able to stay relevant with what you're doing?
So because for me, it's not about popularity. For me, it's about impact. And so I'm not looking for anyone to love Regina. I'm looking for you to glean in on the impact that's on my life, so you can get it on your life, so you can move, so you can stay in motion, so you can be consistent, so you can be unstoppable, and so you can believe that it's nothing impossible for you to accomplish as long as you're willing to put in the work. So for me, it is never about the popularity, but truly about the impact of the lives that I can touch and that I can work with and that I can bless.
I love that, and thank you for saying that, because that goes in that can go across the board in so many different industries. Because we see it a lot of times, and they say, iron sharpens iron, but I think some people getting that confused with competition, because we're supposed to sharpen each other with our skills, but then we get some people, they just competing. I'm like, what is going on? Where it's a little bit for everyone. It's something absolutely. I may not be able to reach Johnny, but you can reach Johnny. I can't reach Sally, but you can reach Sally. And that's once we get that, especially the body of Christ. I'm seeing it more and more in the body of Christ. It's like, what's going on? Why are we competing?
God Your gifts are unique to you.
Because at the end of the day, God tells us that He'll draw the men unto Him anyway. Yes. We're just vessels. So
we're just vessels. And then people need to understand that your gifts are unique to you. And so as long as you're willing to usher in and use your gifts, no one can do it like you do it, right? I tell people all the time, people are like, oh my God, you're on stage with such and such is speaking before you and after you. I don't care who goes before me or after me. They'll never do it like I do it, because they can't share my story, because they never lived it and they never been through it. So I'm the only one who can do that. And I do it in my own unique way.
Yeah, and I had someone say, you're speaking after such and such. Like, how you feel?
Yeah.
I'll be just fine. I will be just fine. God, absolutely. I just let God use me, just like they used them.
Yes.
I love you. So I see. That's why you already know. But I want to piggyback off of what I just said, because I feel like it's something important, because I want to know, what point in your life do you feel there was a turning point where it was God that opened that door for you?
Wow. So I've been in business for over 12 years, full-time as an entrepreneur. But what I realized is about 6 years ago, there was a shift and a turning point, right? Because I had built this amazing business. It was successful. I was doing great. You couldn't tell me different. But what I realized was, although the true foundation of everything was crumbling, and that was me. And so what I realized was God shifted things to open the door to my own heart, to open the door to my own mindset, to open the door to my own joy and peace, right? So I really had to start working on me. I really had to start loving me. I had to start showing up for me. But what I realized was I had to stop waiting at doors, right? Standing at doors, but not knocking. Standing at doors, but not kicking them down. And so I realized, wait a minute, I don't have to stand and knock. I can create my own opportunities. Yeah. And so I started creating my own opportunities. 6 years ago, I hosted 5 years ago, maybe six, probably 5 or 6. I hosted my first Inner Confidence Cafe. Didn't know who would show up. Can I tell you, the room was packed. We had to turn people down. Then I hosted my first Unstoppable Woman retreat for literally 12 of us in the room. It was an amazing experience. Then went to the second year and it was packed. Third year and it was packed. And so here's the door. Here's the deal. Stop waiting at doors for them to open and start creating your own doors.
Yeah.
Listen. Stop waiting to take a seat at the table and become the table.
Thank you for saying that. I know God said He'll prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies.
Yes.
He might want you to go ahead and and do some things too. Like I'm gonna prepare it, but you need to be ready for it too.
Right? Because we always say we're waiting on God. Could you please stop saying that? God is waiting on you because he is always ready, available, and willing. In fact, he tells you, I go before you to prepare the way. So why are you waiting? You can't possibly be waiting on him because he's already given it to you. What you're waiting on is for fear to subside, for self-doubt to release, and for you to start believing in yourself. So get rid of fear because it's really not true, right? And if it is so much true in your life, do it afraid.
Wow.
And stop waiting for yourself to not be afraid and just do it afraid. Because along the way is where you'll unveil what you need to get through what you're going through.
I'm just letting you know at that last 30 seconds, she was talking to just me. So right now it's just me and her. Y'all just listening while she's talking to me because I needed to hear that. For those who don't know, I previously had publications interviewing the likes of, I've interviewed a lot of people and had some great opportunities. So when it was, when I was heard my spirit to change and due to other reasons, some health reasons and all those things, it was like, now I'm doing something else. And it's scary because I'm like, what's going to happen now? They're not going to see the interviews with, Michael B. Jordan or Tamla Mann. And it doesn't even matter. I'm having so much fun right now. I really am. I like to talk anyway. And I'm having so much fun. So you really, that moment she spoke to me. I don't care what y'all say. That was for me. So yes, jump out. Another thing I remember, Vanessa Bell Calloway, she's famous for her role in, Coming to America, when he said when she was barking and stuff, how high, anything you like, and her other roles, and what's love got to do it, etc. And I remember when I asked her about favor, and she said, "I just show up."
That's right.
It's already laid out for me. I just have to show up.
You just have to show up, right? And you have to show up for yourself, right? And then be okay with this is what I just recently realized, and my pastor said it. It says, when God shifts you to another level in your calling, in your purpose, it's going to require you to go back and work on your confidence so you can be prepared for that level. And so it's not that you necessarily can't do it. What it is that now you need another level of confidence. Now you need another level of belief in yourself. And it's okay to go back and tap into those things, right? Don't just ignore it, but just realize that, I'm at a whole nother level now. So it's going to require a whole nother level and version of who I am, right? Because every day you go to bed at night, the next day when you wake up, you should become a better version of who you were the day before. That should be your purpose daily. How do I grow better? How do I be better? And how do I do better?
Wow. I love it. Definitely. Now I am going to give you your time with the audience, but it's still some more things I want to bring up. And I do. Oh, I see. Oh, Shadana, my cousin. She said, "Amen."
Hi.
Say it. I'm gonna have her on here soon too. She also has a powerful testimony as well. But I do want to switch gears just a tad bit because again, this is me. And like I said, one of the reasons why I decided to do this was because I'm a very transparent person. So I say too much. Like, Shenee, you tell too much. That's the ministry that God has called me to. And even when I wrote my book, it was like, wait a minute. You said, but I don't know why God has me like this. And sometimes it is embarrassing, some of the things I say. And I'm like, oh God, all right, you put me on so I can, but then I get the feedback. Like, I appreciate the transparency.
Yeah, right.
I want to ask you, was there ever a strain where with all that you're doing, you was like, you know what, at this pivotal moment, I need to take a break?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So for most people who follow me closely on social media or wherever you follow me at, if you can recall, prior to years back, I was always live. I was always on it. I was always, moving and shaking. And 2 years ago, right before COVID hit, it was a shift for me. And so literally I kind of said, okay, you know what? I need to pause. I need to take a step back because I never want people to, again, it's not about popularity for me, but it's about impact. And so I needed to take a step back. And in that step back, what I realized is over those 2 years, I had health problems. I had COVID twice. I had, you can declare me as like the woman with the issue of blood, not 12 years, but over 40 something days, women, if I can be transparent. So I had an anxiety attack for the very first time. I didn't even know what was going on with me. And if I can be vulnerable, I'm okay with sharing this because I know there's another woman who needs this, right? And so what I realized in bad relationships, and what I realized, what I had backed myself into a corner of always feeling like, as women, they make us feel like we got to always be moving and always be doing. And what I realized is it's okay to do, but if it ain't purposeful doing, it's a waste. And so what I had to do was take a step back and pause. But then I realized 2 years later, with just about 6 months ago, maybe, if I could be over vulnerable, that I didn't just pause, I kind of just quit.
Wow.
And God had to say, well, wait a minute. Yeah, I know you said you were pausing, but are you really pausing, or are you trying to quit? Because that's not an option. Or did you forget, right? Because he says, too much is given, much is required. But he also tells us, I'll never give you more than you can handle. So I had to remind myself that, right? He also tells us you're fearfully and wonderfully made. So I had to start speaking that into my life, right? So I had to go on a journey now of, with the last 6 months, I've been speaking to myself and encouraging myself. And sometimes you got to do that because you can't give from an empty cup. But you can have enough courage to go back and ask God to replenish you so that you can pour back out. And so that's where you are. And if you are in a season where you feel like you need to pause. But just remember, don't give up.
Wow. Thank you. Oh, again, Regina Robinson, the international speaker and the woman. I told somebody the other day that they were the woman, but you are the woman. You're the woman. You know how to get people to open up and just be vulnerable and share. And I think that's where a lot of healing comes from. But I want to ask you, why do you think some, not just women, people in general, male and female, that sometimes when the healing process comes, that's the part that's hard for them, is being able to be vulnerable, being able to, open up. And I think that's maybe why a lot of people aren't don't seek out therapy and those type of things.
I think the world, social media has everybody being so overcritical. Anything you do, people want to kind of scrutinize you. But when you get in a space of truly believing and loving and being unapologetic about who you are and not care about how they see you are, then that's when you can be in a space of continuing to move. And so for me, I'm okay with being vulnerable because I don't care what the next person thinks about me. I know how my God feels about me. And that's the one person I'm going to answer to at the end of the day. And so it's okay to be vulnerable. You do not have to have it all together, but you've got to be willing to work on getting it together. And don't allow people to make you feel like, because there's a lot of people out there, especially in this Christian world, who makes it feel like you're supposed to, you'll have Christians saying, oh, well, girl, you can't say that you felt like giving up. What? Why not? Even Jesus was tempted. Stop playing games with the world. Like, read your Bible, because I've read mine. Stop playing games with people, making them feel like they have to always be perfect, because you will never be perfect. So don't allow someone to make you feel like you got to be perfect, right? You're going to have some mess ups. You're going to have some bumps in the road. You're going to have some knockouts, right? But here's the deal. You got to the count of 10 to get back up. But as long as you get back up, and your get up again is where your strength lies. And so you could be on the count of 9 today. It does not mean you're done, because you still they have not signed. And so you have not said to yourself 10. So get back up. And when you get back up, be stronger than the woman you were or the man you were when you got knocked down. Wow. But again, it's in the get up.
Exactly. Thank you for that. Like, again, I really think this interview is for me. Because she's saying so much, and I know you all are getting something out of it too. But I'm going to read some things in the comments. Shadena says, "Say it. That's religion."
Yes, it is.
Yes. Piggyback off of that. How do you think religion has played a part in how we think sometimes when it comes to faith and being steadfast? How has religion played a?
I think for some, it's been a hindrance for some people to truly flow in who they are, right? Because they want to show up according to how a lot of religious people say you are supposed to show up, or they want to be that version that they say you're supposed to be, right? But here's the deal. Like, even God used the prostitute Rahab. Like, stop playing games. Like, come on, y'all. So if he can use her, he can use you. And so there is nothing you've done or nothing that you can't do or will do that he won't forgive you of.
Yeah, nothing can separate us from his love. That's when you said that, it made me think about that. Like, as far as the east from the west, nothing will separate us from
Yes.
the love of God. And we serve an awesome God. And I was telling someone today, I was like, it's the difference between us and maybe an unbeliever is the fact that even though we go through things, we know the God we serve will still have our
Yes.
back. He will forgive us. He gives us grace and mercy. And until you come to that realization, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, I serve an awesome God.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
serve an awesome God because if I didn't have him, I don't know where throwing in a towel. Oh, I'd be doing more than just throwing some towels, doing some other stuff too. But
Absolutely.
I just thank God for being God. Like,
Yes,
seriously.
right. For loving us even when we don't love ourselves, right?
Mhm.
For
Oh,
loving us unconditionally,
mhm.
for believing in us, right? For giving us the blueprint and the roadmap in His Word, right?
Mhm.
And so you don't have to take anyone else at His word when you can read it for yourself. See,
Mhm.
that's the key. You don't have to take that person at their word when you go to God's words and read it for yourself. And what God does is in his Bible gives us the blueprint, especially for us as women, right? As women, we think we're going through something that's all so different, that's all so new. And do you know the women in the Bible, their stories have given us the blueprint? I literally did my journal, Unstoppable Woman, Prayer, Praise, and Purpose, where I outlined 30 women in the Bible. And it was truly a blessing for me writing that journal because I realized what we're going through, it is not new. There were women entrepreneurs in the Bible. There were women who were couldn't have babies in the Bible.
Mhm.
There were women who made mistakes in the Bible, and God still blessed them. Eve, what she got Adam to eat from the forbidden fruit, right? And God still blessed her. Come
Mhm.
on. Right. And so the prostitute, he used her to get to be that safe house for people passing through. So listen, there is nothing, right? The woman with the oil, she took her oil and turned it into her free flow. Okay. Filling jars. Didn't even know that little bit of oil she thought she had turned into be multiplied. So
Mhm.
sisters, we got everything on the inside of us. We just got to tap in and start using it. We got
Yeah.
to tap in and start letting it flow, right? Let your oil flow. And here's the deal: stop allowing people to tell you who you're supposed to be, and look to God to discover who you really are and who you really are supposed to be. Because we wear who people have positioned us to be, right? Until we learn to get out of that and be who we truly want to be. And then when you discover that, be unapologetic about who you are. That's how I am. Show up, be who you are, be unique, because there'll never be another like you. There's enough copycats in the land. Be original.
Yes, there is. Woo, okay. Like again, I really feel you like you're talking to me, Regina. Again, put like we're just actually having a conversation. You guys are tuning in to the
Yes.
conversation. She's talking to me. She's really, I needed this. So thank you so much. Like Shenee acting like it's only her. I'm sorry. I'm being serious right now.
That means they have to chime into the conversation too. So they got to chat in the comments and they got to connect as well.
Mm-hmm. And I see them on here. They're just not saying it, but that's okay. We'll get you
Yes.
later. We know. It's okay. But I do want to say something in regards to all the things that's going on with the the pandemic. I know some things are opening up back in, but we still seeing the strain on people. Even with I just found out a friend of mine. I'm a professional development trainer for the state of Maryland. One of the classes that I teach is managing stress. Do you know that class is packed every session? I've never seen so many people dealing with stress during the, especially with the last 2 years. So real quick, can you just, before I let you do your free flow, just to encourage people, with so much going on the past 2 years, losing loved ones,
Wow.
losing jobs, and just trying to make ends meet on top of that. And even if they are doing okay, having to deal with other things in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just finances, and just, and my big issue was just the transition of me having to
Yeah.
go into work every day to, teleworking. That was that work life balance I had to do with my
Mm-hmm.
daughter here as well. So that was a little stressful as well. So you just the next, I say, minute or two, and just talk to what's going on now.
I think that we have to pause and realize that the world encountered something that we had never experienced before in our life. Never. So This isn't something that happened before and then now we're able to deal with it. This was new to everyone. And so people went into a space of, like Shenee was saying, where you originally was able to interact with the world. And then at a given point, you were locked in your homes for days and weeks and months at a time with no real connection. Some people were now around their family more than they had ever been before. And it was an adjustment, right? And so you can't beat yourself up. Mental health is huge. You have to take time to process, what did the last 2 years mean to you? How did it affect you? And most importantly, how do you now move forward from it? Because there is a process, right? There is a need to move forward differently because now the world is going to be different. When you walk into a space now, and God forbid if somebody coughs next to you, you're immediately like, oh, right? You're immediately taken back. And so you're on guard a little bit more. Your senses are a little more heightened. So it is okay to feel different. Process what that feeling different means to you. Don't just boggle it in. Right? Take time to really go through what the last 2 years meant to you. And now that it's over, and well, now that it's trying to somewhat be over, how do you get back into life and readjust? How do you move forward? And how do you make things different? How do you even prepare yourself different? How do you take your health more serious, right? How do you make sure you are going to doctor's appointments? How do you make sure you are keeping your body is your temple and your vessel? How are you making sure it is managed? What are you doing to make sure it's great, right? And so all of those things are going to be key in this next season as we move forward, because again, I must say, I don't think the world would ever be the same after these last 2.5 years. We will think differently, we will do differently, and we will act accordingly. And so you have to find your space and place. And what does that mean? Because some companies is never going to, like they've already just said, we're just going to stay remote because it now works for us, right? And so how does that work for you? Like getting out of the house, maybe you have to get out of the house and telework from somewhere in a restaurant or in a cafe or in a coffee shop. What is that going to be for you? Because for me, it was my happy space. I was at the beach all the time. Anytime it was warm, I was at the beach with my laptop working. Why? Because that was my happy space. What is your happy space and what makes you happy? Because mental health is key. It is important. And you have to watch who you are, what you're doing, and who you're becoming. Pay attention to your mental health.
And we're seeing so much in regards to mental health. I've seen so much talk about mental health in the last, I would say, 7 years or so. And it's just, I think more people are realizing the importance of not just our physical, but the mental, emotional, spiritual, all of it, like all the wholeness. And that's part of what one of the series I was doing was the road to wholeness.
Yes.
In that regard, because just not just the healing end of it. It's just, are we whole?
Yeah.
So thank you for saying.
And are you okay with, I think we have to get in a space too, Shenee, of being able to cry out. And do you have people you can cry out to, right? So are you willing to cry out? Like literally the day that I had the anxiety attack, I'm sitting there, I'm in my office, in my home, and I'm sitting at the computer, and something happened. And then all of a sudden I started shaking. My hands were shaking. My whole body was shaking. And I literally started screaming and couldn't stop. I didn't know what was going on. I was scared, right? But who do you have that you can cry out to? Because I immediately called 2 of my sister friends, and within 30 minutes, they were both here, right? Because I live alone and my daughter's away at college. And so what are you doing, right? Who do you have that you can cry out? Who do you have covering you? Who do you have that's going to tell you real deal and not pretend? Who do you have that's going to say, chick, you out of order, right? That's my girl, Candace. She's like, chick, you out of order, or chick, you need to do this, or chick, you need to switch up. Who do you have pouring into your life? Who do you have that's really going to support you? Or are you supporting everyone else and no one's supporting you? So it's time out for the strong sisters, right? Even the strong need support. Right? Even the strong needs a weak moment. So who is that for you? And if you don't have people like that around you, it's time for you to discover people like that. Suicide rate is at an all-time high. And that has to be because someone believed that they couldn't cry out. And so who can you cry out to in this season of your life? Who can you tell today is just not a good day? I don't believe I'm having it all together. Who can come to your rescue, right? Who can hold you up when you feel like you can't hold yourself up? Who's going to keep pushing you when you feel like you've pushed as far as you can push? Who's going to love you beyond you loving yourself, right? So this is a season for you to tap into that, for you to build that inner circle that's going to support you, that's going to uplift you, and that's going to hold you up.
Exactly. And I definitely can relate to, the anxiety. I've actually been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder on top of IIH. For those who don't know, I put it out there on social media and in a newsletter that I've been diagnosed with idiopathic intracranial hypertension and PCOS. On top of that, the anxiety disorder. I'm not claiming none of it. It's just a diagnosis, so I know what to pray for and know what to fight against. But when I talked to the neurologist, the first thing he said was a lot of it dealt with stress, like not releasing. And he was very transparent with me, and I appreciated that because it made me really think even more about, what I'm around, who I'm around, what I'm feeding myself spiritually, and my food as well, my spiritual food, my whole diet. But I'm bringing that up because when it comes to the mental, the physical aspect of it too, how do you see that it's affecting people? Because I'm seeing more and more people saying they're, like myself, being diagnosed with things. I'm hearing more people now. I just had a friend just found out she had cancer now. So even without physical, how do you think people are they taking it seriously or not taking that serious? Their stress level?
I really just think that people here's what I know for sure. Depression is a silent antidote, if you would say, right? It is so silent. It will creep in and you won't even know it creeped in, right? Until you realize, oh, something's not right. I'm not feeling myself, right? And so a lot of people have, again, been locked in, right? They used to say when you went to college, right? You were a freshman in college, you get the freshman 15, right? Meaning you gain 15 pounds, right? So COVID's been here for almost 2.5 years now, right? So a lot of us have gained weight that we wouldn't have gained because we were used to moving and we were active. And when that first year hit, people were really scared to even go out their house. That's how bad it was. So you were having no movement, right? And then you started getting used to not moving. And then now you're like, well, I'm just okay the way I am, right? And so we have to really be okay with saying there's a shift and a change that needs to happen. I even say that to myself, okay, girl, get over it. But there's a shift and change that needs to be happening. You need to get back out there and start walking when the weather breaks. But in the meantime, what can you do now? And so we have to take our health serious. We have to go to our doctor's appointments. We have to do our checkups. Anytime something is feeling out of order, you have to go to the doctors, right? If COVID didn't teach us anything, it taught us it'll take you out of here in an instant. Everyone probably listening has lost a friend, a loved one, or someone close to them due to COVID. And so we have to start taking our health and our mental health serious.
Exactly. Thank you for that. And I don't want to dismiss the other role that you play in helping our young people. Tell us about that. And then after that, I'm going to get off the platform.
Girl, you might as well just stay and we just chat it to our end time and then we pray out. Listen, because God is just moving and he is working in the conversation.
Yes, that is, you know what? That is true.
It's flowing. And so I listen, 15 years ago, I realized it was, I never realized that my mess was my message, right? We don't realize that. When I was in college as a freshman, I started my freshman year at Delaware State University, go Hornets, right? And so I went to college freshman year and I was excited, right? All I knew was when I was a senior in high school, I was like, I'm gonna go to college. I don't care what it takes, I'm gonna get to college. So of course my mother helped me make that a reality. I'm a first generation college student. I got to college and I had a good time. Can I tell you, a good time? And I partied and I had fun and I did this and I did that. And oh my God, next thing I knew, the year was over and I had done flunked out.
Ooh, wow.
Here I am, parents sacrificing. Here I am at college. Here I am saying this is what I want and I flunk out. So I had to return back home to Asbury Park. Yes, I'm from Asbury Park, New Jersey. I had to return back home and go to a community college because my mother said, girl, ain't no way in the world I'm going to pay for you to go there and you can't do what you're supposed to do. So I go to a community college for a year. I do well. I get my grades up. Delaware State says I can come back. I return back to Delaware State for my sophomore year, which should have been my junior year. Return back for my sophomore year. I have fun, but guess what? I now have a new perspective. So here's the deal. It's not how you start, but it's all in the journey, and it's all in your willingness to keep going, even when you feel like you don't have anything left to keep going for, right? And so I realized, listen, just because I messed up then don't mean I'll mess up now. And so I went back to school, and it was a switch completely, a 360. I went back, made the dean's list both semesters. And so here's the deal. I tell my students every day, all day, it's not how you start, but it is always going to be in the finish that's going to make the most difference. And so listen, I tell kids all the time that I don't tell them to take my journey through the whole college thing, because it was years before I got my undergraduate degree. But what I tell them was I got my undergraduate degree, graduated from Bowie State University, go Bulldogs. And when I graduated from there, I graduated with honors. And then I went on to get my master's degree from Georgetown University, one of the prestigious schools here in the DC metropolitan area. And so here's the deal. It is not how you start, but it is what you embrace in your journey that's going to change the trajectory of where you're going to go. I never imagined back then that I would be here today sharing on international stages in different countries, been to South Africa to speak, been to India to speak, and pouring into the lives of thousands of students around the world, and pouring into lives to thousands of women around the world. I did not see that for myself then, but guess what? God dreams bigger than we can ever dream for ourselves. So he saw something different in that mess that at Dell State University is now my message in helping children today find their schools that they can call reality for home for 4 years, where they can make the best education that they could possibly be. So every youth that might be listening to this, tell yourself every day that it's okay to be great. Don't ever let someone tell you that you shouldn't brag about being great. It is okay to be great, right? Had I realized freshman year that I was great, I might have done my story differently, but it's okay. It's my story, right? And so as long as you're willing to tap in to who you are and discover who you're becoming and embrace it along the way, you'll discover the true greatness that lies within you. And so today, I am not only that woman that's that inner confidence strategist, I'm America's #1 college admissions advocate. And so I help kids successfully navigate the college admissions process so that they can go to a school that they can call home without going into debt. And I have helped kids get over $25 million in scholarships and grants.
Wow.
So the world is available to us. What are we doing to show up and be all that we can be?
Wow. And here we are, and almost at the final hour. However, I do want to give a shout out. We had quite a jump in, so welcome those of you who have chimed in. I'm seeing some other powerful folk. Whoa, we have Shannon Savoy in the building, listening from Houston. Powerful woman of God. She was actually on the series when I had first started the road to wholeness. So welcome, prophetess, warrior, so many other names I can give you. But thank you so much.
And look, Shenee, I got to shout out. My baby is on here watching. Hi, Ashley. Mommy loves you. So my daughter is on here tuning in.
Show it on the screen.
So my daughter is tuning in. Make a comment, boo. So my daughter is tuning in with us as well. And so thank you guys to everyone who's tuning in. We pray that you are getting gems, nuggets that you can use so that God can prepare you for what's to come.
And we have the gynecologist of the year, Dr. Joy L. Ballard. How are you? She's also been a part of His Favorite magazine she was one of the last issue she was a part of. So yes. And okay, Karen Smith is tuning in from she said aloha from Hawaii.
Yay, aloha.
Excited.
I've never been to Hawaii. Come on, let's make that Hawaii thing happen.
Let's get our GoFundMe account going.
Yes, I've never made it to Hawaii, so let's make that happen.
Yes, I always want to do a girls' trip to Hawaii. I always want to do that. Well, you got to make that happen. Excited about college. All right, congratulations. She started in the fall at 67 years old.
Yes, because here's the deal. It is never too late to pursue your education. Don't ever let anyone tell you that, oh my God, if you're this age, you can't go back to college. You can go to college at any age you desire to go to college. If you're willing to put in the work when you get there, you can go at any age and be successful, right?
Yes. Oh, thank you, Shannon. She said, "Hey, beautiful people, we love these conversations tonight. Thank you for
Oh,
the
thank
support."
you.
And Doctor also said, "Hello, beautiful ladies. Thank you again."
Hello.
I saw the viewing go up, so I know y'all out there. So just put it in chat
Yes.
before
You can ask any questions and listen,
Oh
check
yeah.
questions because Shenee can see the questions and she'll tell me what someone's asking. Please shout any questions, any comments. We will interact with you by the time we have. And we are all for it, right? That's what conversation is, being able to interact. We don't want to be live and you're not asking
Tonight is
questions.
a little different because, like I said, we know each other, so you're not getting the whole. This is a question. This is the answer. So you're getting a little different tonight. You're like, what in the world's going on here?
So
but
we
Karen
flowing together.
also. Oh, she said join us August. Okay, conference apostle. Give us the information. Anybody knows anything going on? This is
drop it live. If you're looking for speakers, me and Shenee would love to be right there with y'all. Yeah. Hey, listen, there's power in the acts. If you don't put it out there, won't nobody know. So listen, if you're looking for two powerhouse people that's gonna bring the fire, turn the building upside down, you done found those two women.
Yes. So let us know, Karen. Definitely. And also, with this media, this platform, let us know. Newsletters out there as well. So please reach out to me. We have got a few more minutes left. I usually, get off the camera, but I'm gonna stay on because she asked me to. So I usually give the whole just tear myself off, sit back. But I am going to let Regina. One thing I do know about her is when she is with her audience, she brings laughter as well, which is hard at times to do. Myself as a speaker know how that can be because sometimes you'll have people stare at you like, okay. So how has that helped play a role with you getting engagements? And again, just, continuing doing what you're doing and knowing when to make them laugh, knowing your audience, when to make them laugh and when to keep it on a serious end.
I think for me as a speaker, and I think the reason I get called back for keynotes and workshops and breakout sessions and all that all the time is I truly bring who I am, right? A lot of times you have speakers that will get on stage and turn off who they are and be a speaker, but I bring who I am as the speaker to the stage, right? And so I believe I'm fun and giddy at times and I'm off the cliff. So sometimes I'll just say something totally out there, right? I remember one time I was on stage speaking and I said, listen, I was speaking at a church for a Women's History Month, a Women's Day for women's ministry. And I said, listen, because I'm God's ride or die chick. And everybody bust out. It was like, Lord, yes, because listen, I'm going to ride with God till the wheels fall off. Because if I keep riding with him, I know I'm good. See, I can't rely on someone else when I'm riding with them, right? Because they might be left or right, but with God, he's going to keep me straight. But when I get left and when I get right, he's going to line me back. So I'm his ride or die chick. I'm with him until the wheels fall off, right? And so for me, I'm about being who I am when I'm on stage. I'm uniquely myself. I am authentically who I am when I get up there. And so literally, I like to use real world experiences when I'm on stage. I like to really give you examples, right? So I'm not going to just show up and teach on something and there's not an example for real life so that you can actually envision yourself right there in that moment, making that shift for whatever that shift might be, right? You saw the clip that started before this came on as a video where I was doing the double dutch, right? I'm known around for the double dutch queen. Everybody knows Sinclair from Living Single, right? Her real name is, oh my God, I can't believe her real name just left me, right? I'm always calling her Sinclair so much.
Oh my goodness.
It's crazy that I can't, something Cole, right?
Somebody put it in chat. That's right.
Yeah, Sinclair I was a speaker at this, it was a drop the mic segment and she was the host, right? And so I go on and I do Kim Coles. It was Coles, right? I said Coles, right? Kim Coles. And I do, and I'm speaking as a 5-minute drop the mic and all of a sudden I just bust out and start doing the double dutch. She said, oh my God, I'm about to come jump in the rope, right? So she and the audience MC in the event, but I do the double dutch thing to give an example, right? Because I say all the time that a lot of times we play double dutch with our lives, right? If you've ever been that girl who loved playing double dutch growing up and you was always the one who wanted to jump and never wanted to turn like me. But you were always the one waiting for the perfect turn, right? So you just keep bouncing on the side, waiting for the perfect turn. And that is you in your life. You're waiting for life to be perfect. So while you sitting there bouncing around, you might look cute and you might be enjoying the bounce, but ain't nothing in the bounce. It's in the jumping is where you're going to get hurt. It's where you're going to grow. It's where you're going to get your clients. It's where your business is going to flow. It's where you're going to flow and flourish, right? It's in the jump in. And so literally you got to be willing to jump in. So I remember Kim Cole saying, girl, I'm about to steal that. I'm going to tell everybody. She said, I'm going to give you credit one time. And after that, it's a wrap, right?
Oh,
so how do you bring in who you are when you're speaking? And so me as a speaker, I bring in who I am, but I bring in things that I can relate that has helped me in my life, that I know another woman can envision in their life when I say it and when I put it out as an example, right? Because I'm dramatic. And you know, Shenee, I'm bringing people from the audience. I got 2 women and they my turners, right? And I got them standing there turning like they really turning, doing double dutch. And I'm right there standing there bouncing like I'm about to jump in. Hey, listen. It's all in how you deliver the message. That is when people will never remember what you say, but they will remember how you impact them. And for most people, that's the impact moment for them to say, I need to stop jumping on the sidelines and get in so I can experience all life has in store for me. So for everybody listening, it's time to jump in the road and get all life has in store for you. Stop bouncing on the sideline, watching everybody else win. Stop comparing yourself to what everybody else is doing, because where they are might not be the extent of the elevation for where God has called for you to be. So don't compare yourself to somebody else, because their greatness is not the measure of greatness God has in store for you. And you might miss out on the greater that God has for you because you're so busy envying what somebody else is doing. When God says, hold up, I got greater, but if you settle for there, I'll let you settle. But I got greater, but if you ain't willing to get the greater, then you're going to be settled right where you are. So ladies, tap into your greater and become the unstoppable women you are destined to be in this season of your life.
Dr. Joyelle said, preach. she definitely is. Again, I still feel I'm being a little selfish with this interview because she's talking to me. But y'all, you all are just tuning in. But again, thank you so much. We are at the hour. I want to have you on again. But I'm sensing something on what I'm gonna do with this when I get you on again. So it's already
it's already brewing.
My brain already got something like, oh, I want to do this next time. But definitely will have you on again. Can you please let us know how we can get in touch with you?
Oh, absolutely. So on all social media platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, I'm Regina Robinson Speaks, and that's Speak with an S. I'm Regina Robinson Speaks across all platforms. My website is reginarobinsonspeaks.com. And I would love to connect with you. You can email me at info@reginarobinsonspeaks.com. You can inbox me on Facebook. That's what I'm not one of those people who make my assistant do it. I respond to your inboxes. And so connect with me on all social media. Grab my journal, Unstoppable Woman, Prayer, Praise, and Purpose, where I outline 30 women in the Bible. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. And join us in the Unstoppable Woman Circle. It's a Facebook group for women where I show up and show out. Would love to connect with each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and may God continue to bless and keep you.
Thank you so much. I don't have to do my final thoughts. Just because we just flow like that. It's okay. But again, I'm gonna put it up here, and also those of you, please go to our website, www.hisfavoriteministries.com.
Oh, wait, no, it's reginarobinsonspeaks.com. So you put
Lord.
on my life.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Nope, it's Regina Robinson and then Speaks all together.
There we go. I thought I had it. Oh, it won't let me do it. I'll put it up. Those of you who please, by all means, please go to www.hisfavoriteministries.com. Sign up for the newsletter. It's going to be more about her. Plus, this interview is going to be in the newsletter, and I'm going to have the more intense, full bio of her as well, and anything she has come up, and all the links to reach her out. So please sign up so you can get more information in regards to the Lady of the Hour, Regina Robinson, award-winning speaker and Inner Confidence Strategist. Before we leave, please keep my friend Luke in prayer. Again, this is our first interview. This is me with Shenee and Luke. So hopefully he'll be back on again. Shout out to Luke wherever you are. I'll try to get in touch with you later, but as you can see, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun. So please tune in next time. We actually have Sarah Grace is next. For those of you who've been following His Favorite Ministry, she is actually, when we had the magazine, we call her the cover girl. She did all the covers. She as well is gonna be very transparent with us and just have a conversation. So I'm looking for most of the people in this series. Either I already know them or I know something of them, and I know they're going to bring fire. I did this. This is. Oh, hi! It's Gerald. He's supposed to be on here too. You too late. Hello, brother in Christ. Hightower. I'm gonna call him High because sometimes I want to say Steve Hightower. But don't beat me up. But blessings to you as well, and I look forward to having you on this platform soon. Also, Bishop. But yes, I'm sorry, Pat. I'm being silly now. Pat, see us bringing ourselves into the interview. But again, love you all. Share. And continue to be a blessing to other people, especially during this time, to continue to love on others, continue to pray for each other. All right. You don't know what someone is going through. If they having a little attitude or things don't seem right, ask yourself. This is something I learned while we've been doing a series in my Uncle Sam job is what else could this be? Ask yourself. If they're acting a certain way, like, it may not be you. It may just be something they're going through, but what else could this be? And just pray for them. You just pray. So, bye, adios, hasta luego, whatever it is, and we will see you all soon. Thank you so much, Regina.
Thank you.